Hey guys, what's up? This is Ed, and yeah, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And now I'm gonna be comparing two decks that come out in the new set that comes out this week, Judgment and Light. It's free access Fire Fist, as you can use this chicken, or in the TCG Rooster, which is $150 at the moment. It's crazy, against Bujins. And I specifically asked my friend to make a Bujin build that was only from Judgment Light. He said sure, I can do it, and run Vanity Emptiness, as is a really good card right now, and this deck doesn't need cards to go from the field to the grave, so it actually works quite well. And let's see the replay here. He goes first, and you can see he opened up pretty bad, but 10 keys still allows him to search for the searcher, which sets up for the grave, which has a really good effect as it stops it from being targeted by any card effect. So you can't Veiler, you can't do any of the... Well, you can't Veiler in general because this card misses Veiler. We actually tested it out, and this card, since it only works on the end phase, misses Veiler. But if you use Fire Fist Bear, which is very important in this deck, to pop this card up, it doesn't work, and is any Bujin card. So if they make their boss card, it is saved. But here you can see he's still got this spell card as well that is very good if they has a banish one. So if he uses the effect of that and one in the grave, he special summons both of them back and can make the XYZ. So he allows for this effect to be used again when he detaches and add any card for his hand as he does later. But here's the play. I summon Panther, as Panther has the effect that allows me to trigger himself or any other Fire Fist monster to search for a spell card. And in this case I search for Tenki, so I can search for my spirit to use next turn, as I fall on these two to scare him off. Obviously it doesn't work, and he still attacks me. And you see, he every turn, consistently as this lives, is able to feed to the graveyard these, which stop card effects. This is actually a very dangerous play. He had 5 backer and no way of saving them. This is not a first game, so I think he already knew that I wouldn't heavy storm or anything like that. I actually managed to hit the warning with the blaster drop, which was very good, as he can stop my spirit technically, because any of his back row couldn't actually stop my spirit other than Vanity, which he actually uses it at this point. And Vanity just full outright stop spirit, and that's it. I can't do anything about it, and that's the end of that. So I have to somehow make a card from his field and go to the grave, and I have no way of doing that other than actually doing that. And as you can see, I actually misplay at this point, because I think this is any monster effects. That's where I was wrong. Is any card effect, so I can't even lance this monster. I can't anything that targets him. So yeah, I can't use lance against him, and at this point I only go up to 16 and I die. And what he did there with the lance, it was actually not a misplay from him. It was because we were playing friendly wise. He said, oh, if we were doing this on a friendly, you would have checked on the effect of the grave, blah blah blah. You wouldn't have flipped lance, and I would have just launched my monster myself if you hadn't. To I don't really know why, but at this point Vanity's gone, and I just go, okay, fine, cool. I actually know that at this point he said, yeah, it's cool, because he really wanted to use this card. I didn't know that, and I was just really confused as to why he did it. So I activate Blaster, and he changed Max C, which is really bad, as I have nothing at this point. He's just destroying me. And I don't actually remember the outcome of this match, but he summons Gorilla. I Veiler to stop the effect going off, because that would have been just too much. He makes Tiger King, searching out another Tenki, which will activate and add to his end another Yamato, so he can keep his Yamato comb going off, and he has another Vanity. It was just... If I didn't have the Dark Hole, that would have been the game right there. But I do, and I managed to actually get a Tenki to add a Spirit, and I just hope he doesn't have enough to kill me in one turn. Which turns out he had, but he didn't, which is what I don't understand. And at this point he just sets up for more monsters, and I just have to go for my Spirit play, hoping he doesn't have another Vanity set. And he doesn't, and this is where you actually get to see the combo of 3 axes go off. You see, you make Horse Prince, and you can get this or Chicken. At this point I had to get this, I couldn't get Chicken, but yeah. You make Horse Prince, then you can get any... I got Bear, and I attempt to activate Bear, and I forgot that he had that monster, but still. And at this point I managed to actually kill Yamato and get Bear effect, and now I have a clogged field, which is a very big thing on this. But he managed to get his Bear as well, and this is where this comes into play. It's a card that people don't actually play much. I hadn't actually seen play, but I really like it, and it saves me from any effect that targets my monster. So with 3 axes and Fire Fist, especially with the reprint of Bear now, this card actually is very good to save in your monsters, and card effects will not work on it. But at this point he manages to make his boss card Yamato, and yeah, he will rush me for game at this point, as this card is just very deadly, as you can attack every monster I control, and you can detach and add any Bujin card from your deck to hand, or send one. And what he does is probably the most common combo of using this card, Crane, where when the monster Bujin attacks, this doubles the attack. So he can attack any of my monsters, drop Crane, and his attack doubles. Alright, that was the end of that clip. I'll be back soon with another clip of 3-axis versus Bujin, so you can compare and know which is the best deck to make our Judgment Light. See ya. Hey guys, here's a second clip, and here you can see that I open up actually pretty, like, I don't have any combos to go off. I basically just have ways to stop him. And you can see he actually opens up pretty good. He has two of one of the main cards in the deck, and an Honest and Vanity, which breaks my deck, and Max C. But you can see how in this clip it actually allows you to see how this deck deals with being, you know, blocked, and how it top decks. So let's go. I start, and I actually open up with a very good card for me to draw into, Panther, which allows me to set the tanky and such. So this deck's actually pretty, you can get out of situations like this pretty safe, because by adding Spirit with tanky, I already have Panther target, and next turn I can go into a Horse Prince and do the combo. As you can see, that Horse Prince here. Could actually have gone into any of these other 6, but in all of my matches I never actually saw the need to go into them, and you don't need more than 2 Horse Prince, definitely no. But let's continue with the match. You see, he tops into Crane, which is actually ridiculous. This is the card that makes Bujins actually playable, to be honest, in my opinion. This is just ridiculous. You can't attack into them, and if they attack you, they can do it as well. So if you don't somehow stop the attack or destroy their monster without having the one in the grave that stops card effects, that's just ridiculous. But I am able to bottomless him, and he has no other outs. He just put Vanity, and I summon Spirit. And at this point, he chooses to go with a Max C other than Vanity to try and get into a draw, because he knows that I will not play on with Max C, because this is a special summon heavy combo. He would have ended up drawing about 4 cards, I believe, if I did put my combo out, and it wouldn't have been worth it. So I just choose to Tribute Panther again for another trap, get another tanky, add another card to my hand, and sell another one. I knew I left my Spirit. I wasn't scared and chose to XYZ because I knew I had Bottomless, I knew I had Fiendish Chain, I knew that I would be safe, because I don't believe he plays Max C, because not many people at this format were not Max C, Mystical Space Typhoon, MST, because not many people play at this format, and I'm not sure if he put it in or not. I never actually got to see it. So he summons another Yamato, another Bottomless to him, and at this point he actually raged a bit on the chat saying, wow, open up good, and I was just like, wow, you have no idea. So I just go ahead, summon another Spirit, trying to get the effect off again, and this time he flips the Vanity, and I go, well, if you had Vanity, I guess it was good play to use Max C instead. And then I just choose to attack with 2 Spirits, and leave it at that, because I had, again, Chain. But at this point, I actually believe he misplayed or forgot about Lance, because he could have launched his Yamato, and he would have left the effect of Chain, and that way he wouldn't actually be able to get the effect at the end phase, or killed one of my Spirits, so I wouldn't be able to use them. But I think he probably chose to not launch due to Vanity. I think he chose to keep Vanity over than Yamato, I suppose. So I think at this point I actually am able to get another card that saves me. I get this Panther. I think it's a Panther. I really like this card, as it's able to get me any spell or trap I need, and it just saves me so many times. So I tribute him, get Tensu, and activate Tensu, so I can actually normal summon Gorilla, and this is why I play Gorilla. Gorilla actually allows me to clear the back row, whereas Bear only monsters, and sometimes the monsters are not the problem, it's the back row. So I managed to get rid of Vanity, and I make Lion Emperor and discard a Spirit, so the next turn I can summon Spirit again and actually get a combo with Horse Prince off. I definitely recommend playing this. So I attack for ignoring. This was actually a misplay for me, because I just forgot that he could have had Crane, I forgot he could have had Honest, and I attack into it and end up dying. And yeah. So main phase 2, I just end, let him play his turn. He still can't do anything because of Fiendish Chain, and at this turn I am actually superior, because I can just use Gorilla to clear his back row, and once again is me using this trap now to dodge Lance. That way my monster still has the attack points and I'm still able to run over him. And yeah, at this point I go into Spirit, he goes into Maxi again, so I again choose to not do the combo as it's too heavy and choose to just pop his monster bear and attack for 4,900 damage, which is actually amazing because yeah, it's not actually mint. It was one more monster and it could have been game, so I could have summoned the blaster and it would have been game. Here's actually a very bad misplay, but at this point I was testing to see how Cardinal played out, and I did not want him to have a monster that was a Bujin in his grave so he couldn't use a spell card. And I was meant to select the Tenki and Tensu that were in the grave, but by accident, in Death Bro, I clicked the Tenki that was on the field, so I ended up sending this Tenki back rather than the grave one. But it didn't cause that much of a pain, and it still did what I wanted to do there by not having one in the grave. This was actually a really, really bad turn though for him. He forgot that this was a set Tensu that I did by a monster effect and not by, so he got scared of this back row, had Foolish in hand, so he could have sent any monster there to use War God Advent. So instead of that, he actually chose to summon a monster, scared of what this back row may be, to attack into me so that the monster would die and he would be able to use Advent, but he could have done it beforehand anyway. And the back row, he went to me after and said, "Oh my god, I forgot that it was a Tensu. I only remember now." And it was just terrible, terrible plays. So in main phase 2, he manages to go into, well, it says Susano here. He manages to go into his boss monster Susano, and at this point I know he has Cranes in his hand, so I know I can't attack Susano. And the thing with this is you can use it twice, so he can attack all of my monsters. He can use it on this one, then attack again and use it on this one, so it would have been game. So I had to win this turn and I knew it. So I went for the clear up, and at this point I actually looking at my hand, looking at what I knew was in his hand. By the way, these don't show if you don't use Death Pro. This is just because the replay is showing it to me. I knew that I was actually going to be able to beat him this turn, so I went for the let's see how much I can do. And this is a very long combo. I was actually worried I was going to run into time at this point, but I'm going to Horse Prince because this is sped up on the replay as well. So Horse Prince, get another level 3. Instead of tributing it, I go into a 10 Temple to try and get out this and get out the card effector card from his grave, but he chose to not use it on 10 Temple, which was great. So I managed to actually add Tenki, use Tensu. Wolfbug allows me to get back another bear, and bear, pop it on that. Then he negates the effect, and I just go, you know what? I actually could have made Cowboy and win anyway. I was just playing about with you, Cowboy. I was gonna ditch one and buy him again, but he said nope. I'll surrender first. And yeah, that was the playthrough. And you can see that this deck can win against Bujins, but Bujins seem to be pretty good at top decking as he lost 2 of his monsters, but just by getting 1 card out, he's able to get these in his hand. And technically, because of their spell card, Bottomless does not hurt them that much. It actually helps them sometimes. But yeah, that's the end of this replay, and I'll see you on the next one.